Today is Tuesday, July 13th, and today, back squats, overhead press, and accessories. A little bit different than last week. Instead of a top 5 and down sets of 5, sets of 3 for both the top set and the down sets. Last week, I hit 395 for the top set of 5, and it was very hard, but I also think it was a particularly bad day in terms of I think overall, just a bad day with squats. I wasn't feeling very much energy, and my technique felt pretty off. And there was just a ton of lateral movement that usually isn't there. And so I sort of took that into consideration when thinking about what to go for my top triple here. And so I played it pretty safe. I knew that 395 for 5, it was basically RPE 10. And so I opted for 405 for the top triple. But you can kind of see here in all of these warm-ups and in the top set, and honestly all of the reps today, it might be related to the fact that my lower back was feeling a little bit sore, likely from the back extension, the DIY thing that we have set up at 24, which I'm also going to do today. But yeah, my lower back was a little bit sore, and so you can see I'm trying to sort of set my hips and be a little bit more active with the use of my hips, like I sort of have been focusing on for the last several weeks, last few months. That actually moved pretty well, I think. Given everything. And but anyways, what I was saying about my hips was you can kind of tell by the fact that as soon as I initiate the descent, my lower back goes into flexion, and it's the same thing happens whenever I dip for a push press or a jerk or something like that. Even when it's on my back, it might honestly be a little bit better, as in the flexion is less pronounced when the bar is on my front rack. But you can kind of see that. These down sets were actually kind of hard. I think the top set took a lot out of me, and also this third down set right here. My timer goes off in the middle of recording, and so it cuts off, and then I have to go back and reset up the camera to crank out the last two on video. But anyways, these moved pretty well. I wasn't particularly unhappy with how they moved or felt. It was just that technique wise, I guess it wasn't great because the lower back flexion being there, that's not necessarily the problem, but it's more of a symptom, an indication that I'm not using my hips as well as I can. But then I moved on to overhead press, and admittedly, I was kind of all over the place today with the camera. You'll sort of see what I'm talking about, I guess. But I also forget to record 115 in between 95 and 135. But here with overhead press, I am actually still pushing 5s, probably because last week I hit 165, which is actually matches my PR. Set of 5, and it looked like I had a little bit of room left, and so this week I went for 170 for my top set of 5, and it was hard. Usually it becomes a little bit easier, or it becomes a lot easier after the first rep. The second set, the second rep is always a lot easier, but this time around it was harder than I expected, and so I managed to eke out the last rep, and so I was pretty happy about that because 5-pound PR. Can't complain about PRs. So and then moved on to down sets. Nothing particularly special. I do turn around after this set to face the camera to see if I'm uneven or anything, but I looked pretty good, I think, in terms of evenness. And 155 for 3 sets of 5 they're pretty easy. not easy, but they weren't too difficult. So making progress in that area, which is good. Can't complain about progress. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Nothing particularly special. It was just sort of a come in and get the work done kind of day. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else. Oh, yes, actually I do. So setting up the phone and recording and like always having to take my phone off the tripod and all of that is super annoying. And so I made a very spontaneous splurge and ordered a GoPro, which I'll use to film from now on, and it should be here tomorrow. So fingers crossed that it does, so the next video I can use that for. But yeah, that's about it.